Good day everyone. I am back for another topic and today is we're gonna talk all about the banking system. But before that, we're gonna talk about the history of banking system. Back in the days, banking was not a tightly monitored or regulated business unlike what we have today. Earlier, banking was a completely a free market. So first is the goldsmiths from keepers to lenders. In strict form, banking profession was first carried out by the goldsmith, a gem dealer or keeper in medieval Europe. The idea being is that valuable commodities will be left by the owners at the goldsmith's vault or whatever form of storage for safekeeping. Next is the loose banking era. The money lending of the old led to banking. Taking deposits and making loans out of deposits are the usual business of institutions now as called as banks. But unlike the old time, the depositors did not have to pay a fee to the banker to safeguard their gold in his secure vault. Next is the issuance of private banknotes. With a simple sense of practicality, people realized that carrying large amounts of gold over long distances was not safe as well as inconvenient. And next is the rise of central banks. Unscrupulous banking practice was the obvious eventuality of the absence of banking regulation. Many fly by night banks came into existence during this period. Some of these banks were called wildcat banks, and they conned entire towns and cities of their savings. Next is the fractional reserve system or the FRS. It is another important development in the modern banking system is the fractional reserve system. This means that bankers only need. Next is we're gonna talk all about the BSP function or the Bangko Sentro ng Pilipinas. First is we have the liquidity management. The BSP formulates and implements monetary policy aimed at influencing money supply consistent with its primary objective to maintain price stability. Next is the currency issue. The BSP has the exclusive power to issue the national currency. All notes and coins issued by the BSP are fully guaranteed by the government and are considered legal tender for all private and public debts. Next is the lender of last resort. The BSP extends discounts loans and advances to banking institutions for liquidity purposes. Next is the financial supervision. The BSP supervises banks and exercises regulatory powers over non-bank institutions performing quasi-banking functions. And next is the management of foreign currency reserves. The BSP seeks to maintain sufficient international reserves to meet any foreseeable net demands for foreign currencies in order to preserve the international stability and convertibility of the Philippine peso. And for our next function, it's determination of exchange rate policy. The BSP determines the exchange rate policy of the Philippines. And lastly is the other activities. The BSP functions is we're gonna talk about the classifications of the banking system. The Philippine banking system is composed of universal and commercial banks, thrift banks, rural and cooperative banks. First is the universal banking. It combines the services of a commercial bank and an investment bank, providing all services from within one entity. Next is the thrift banks that are composed of savings and mortgage banks, stock savings and loan associations, and also private development private development banks. Lastly is we have the rural and cooperative bank. They are the most popular type of banks in the rural communities. Their role is to promote and expand the rural economy. And for our next topic is the services offered by the bank. In the modern world, banks offer a variety of services to attract customers. Some of the basic modern services offered by the banks are discussed in the following section. First is we have acceptance of deposit from depositors or client is the primary function of a bank. Banks accept deposit from those who have money but cannot utilize it in profitable activities. Next is loan services banks. It needs to lend money to the public to generate revenue in the form of interest. Banks, being a business entity, need to gain profit if it is continue to its existence. Next is the ATM services. ATMs replace human bank tellers in performing basic banking functions such as deposits, withdrawals, account inquiries. And for our last services that they offered is the bank guarantee customers. They are provided by the facility of bank guarantee by modern commercial banks. And for our last topic is we have the bank organizational structure. First is we have the executives that are usually responsible for specific business areas. The executive for community banking focuses on local branches and offices at the local level. These executives typically work closely with the board of directors. Next is directors. Each executive generally has a small team of senior directors to closely manage business functions. In community banking, executives will assign a senior leader to manage the distribution of products and another to focus on the business development. Next are department managers, whereas the directors define the direction and the objectives of a business unit. The managers, on the other hand, will decide how to implement them. Lastly is the bank staff. They are the front lines and are often the face of the company to clients and potential employees alike. So that is all for topic for today. Thank you.